Yo, guys, and welcome to another replay analysis. Today, we're doing a Protoss versus Zerg with the Protoss. Protoss perspective. I don't know if I just said it, and it's Gold League. I can't remember if I said it's Gold League, Protoss versus Zerg. Either way, Gold League. Yeah, fuck yeah, guys. Going for the gold. Since it is a replay analysis, we'll be jumping through it a little bit faster than a coaching lesson. But yeah, hell yeah. Greatest intro ever. It's okay. If you guys don't know how replay analysis works, if this is your first time watching it, basically what happens is I watch somebody's perspective, I help them figure out what they're doing right, what they could do better, and I just overall make them better at StarCraft. I help them improve. So that's the goal here. Now, first things first, that pylon is super late. We don't have to really go super into detail about that. The reason why I think your pylon's super late is probably because you did that. You probably queued up probes really hard when you made the first pylon. Okay, we actually do need to pause it right now because you're doing multiple things, in my opinion, that are wrong. If you queue up probes and you can't afford the pylon, definitely know that that pylon, the first pylon, takes priority. Like, you can keep one probe in production, just definitely don't queue another one and have to wait, and then build a pylon. You need to get that shit down, like, ASAP. So that was definitely going to slow you down, because now ultimately what the goal was is you want to keep the probes rolling, right? You want to keep them rolling, but now you're supply blocked for like 7 seconds, that's literally the same thing as not building probes. So that's awful. You definitely want to avoid that. Make sure you get that pylon down when you can actually afford it. You totally can. Your first probe could be built. Get here and build it right away as a priority. Now, I want you to, instead of scouting with your pylon scout, I really want you to get in the habit of not doing that, and I want you to get in the habit of scouting with your gateway scout. So if you build a pylon that's far away like this, leave the probe here and build the gateway. And the reason why I tell you this, the only advantages of the probe going over to the Zerg's base early like this is if you're going to do a build that is aggressive and annoying and is microed, and you're not going to do that. You should not do that as a gold level Protoss. As a gold level Protoss, you should let the Zerg kind of just do whatever they're going to do, and you do your thing, but you keep tabs on them. Like, you can scout him still, that's fine, but you shouldn't have the intention of being like, I'm going to block your natural, ha ha ha, I'm going to send a depths over here now and fuck you over. Don't do that. It's not suited for a gold player. You're gonna fuck your own build up more than you'll fuck theirs up half the time. So don't do that. I highly disagree with the pylon scout. Your whole build is delayed now, mineral wise. Your probes are delayed, and your second probe is not even mining, which means if you're gonna go for a nexus, you have less money by a lot already. It's only in the first 40 seconds of the game, and you already have a lot less money. Every probe beyond the first. So think about this. Probes 13. Or rather, probes 14, 15, and 16 are all, at the very least, going to be 7 seconds delayed, because it was already supply blocked from 11 here. Yeah. So 7 seconds delayed on every one of those probes. That's 7 seconds per probe. Which, if you really think about it, that's it's not really exactly 7 minerals. It's more like you miss 7 minerals for the first probe. You miss like 14 for the second one, and you miss is it like that? Like 21 for the third one, because it's like a cascading effect where like they could have been alive longer and all mining longer, but they're starting later when you could have had them up longer. I can't fucking remember. Yo, Rhoda, thank you for the gifted sub, or Swivel Cut. So, Rhoda, thank you for the resub, and Swivelgut, thank you for continuing the gifted sub. Much love, boys. Appreciate you. Thank you. And Ultimate Dragon Ball, if I didn't say so already, thank you as well for the Prime. Thank you, dude. But yeah, you're missing money, okay? You're missing money. This is bad. This is not good. It adds up like crazy. Yeah. It fucking sucks. Gotta avoid this shit at all costs. Swivelgut, thank you very much, dude, for the gifted sub again. Much love, dude. Hell yeah. Gateway was, even though your pylon was delayed, your gateway was built relatively fast, so that's okay. You should be chrono boosting your nexus now. Okay, good job. Okay. Now, This is a pylon scout. You have to keep that in mind, right? So it's going to change things. But if you pylon scout and you see, if you see a Zerg player has a natural, you already know he's not all-inning you off of a pylon scout. I don't want you to pylon scout anymore. I want you to do a gateway scout in the future. But I feel like you already have all the information you need as a gold player. You don't need to know any more than this. If you do any more than this as a gold player, your only thing you're going to do is you're going to hurt yourself. And the reason why I say that is because the more time you invest brain power into looking at your opponent's build when you're not fully comfortable with your own yet, which is why you're Gold League, you're going to fuck your own build up more and more and more and more. So we'll see how long your probe stays here and what it literally looks at. But you don't need to, you literally need to see nothing in here. Just once again, putting this out. If you are walking, if you're a gold player and you're walking into his base and you're literally having this thought go through your mind, which is this. Does he have a pool that's done? Is he making Zerglings? Is he making roaches right now? Is he teching to a layer? If you think any of those things, you do not understand build orders yet, which is okay. You will eventually. But if you think, if you actually think you're going to scout Zerglings, roaches, or a layer right now, you do not understand build orders. And the reason why I say that is because the only way that this motherfucker could afford this natural this fast is if he didn't skip, or if he did it first. The only way he could afford this, doing it second, is if he is actually not making any drones at all. If he just sat on 12 drones, and then he made a pool, and then he sat on 11 drones, and then he made the hatchery. That is the only way he could afford this hatchery this fast. Like, he can't have gas mining and a hatchery that fast and also making roaches or lings. So just know, if you think that's possible, it is literally impossible because of how fast it would happen. Because, like, let's just say hypothetically, we're like, lings are popping out of his base, and he's got to expand. That'd be like a Zerg flying an Overlord over here, and he would think that you have the access to, like, Dark Templars right away. And a Nexus could be done. And you might have a proxy Nexus somewhere. And there could be, like, a Stargate proxy. And there might be Colossus coming out of your base. Like, impossible. You could not do that this fast. So, when you see his pool, even before you see it, you know what you should think to see? It's just getting started. The pool is going to get thrown down in your face, or it's going to be just barely started. Like, we're talking, it's going to be like 10% in production or less. So let's see what you see. That's what you should be thinking. And it makes sense because you scouted a natural. And what do you see? You see no pool. And you know why you saw no pool? It's because of what you saw right here. No saving of money. Fully spending the larva. Means he can't afford a pool yet. So you honestly, again, this probe doesn't even need to be in his base. Like, I'm going to just say this. There is a difference between actually scouting someone and just going like this. Like, just looking at it and looking away and being like, I don't know. I just looked at it. Nothing's too fishy yet. But I don't really know what's going on. And I honestly think when players in Gold League scout like this, you're scouting nothing. You're basically, this is okay, this is the way I'm going to explain it, okay? This is the difference. There's two ways to scout. One of them is really bad. One of them is really good. The first way, I'll just say the bad one first. The way that's really bad to scout is you wait to see something. You don't know what's happening until you see it. That is the bad way to scout. And that is how everybody thinks you scout in low leagues. Everyone in, like, again, everyone in lower leagues, they always have this process of elimination in their mind where they go, what's he doing? I don't know. Keep scouting. What's he doing? I don't know. Keep scouting. What's he doing? I don't know. Keep scouting. What's he doing? Oh, okay. He made links. He's got links. Cool. He's got links. And that's how you scout in lower leagues. That's fucking awful. That's not how you actually scout. That is not really scouting. Scouting in higher leagues is knowing what is capable of happening. And when you see something get chosen, when you, like, it's like a branch, okay? You have literally a line of progress. And when you see someone invest into one way or the other, you know the other is impossible. So just because you saw this automatically tells you there's no fucking pool in his base. That's yet. It's hatchery first. So this tells you no aggression. It really is. It's no aggression. Zero aggression. And you knew that before you even went up the ramp. But if you take like laps for 30 seconds straight and you're like, where's that pool, bro? You know he's going to do that because it's what you have to do because you don't have infinity money. That is the difference between good and bad scouting. And why is this bad scouting? Because you are doing this with a probe that is not with a fully saturated mineral line. You are leaving this probe at his base for so fucking long and so early. This probe might as well have a number above his head that's like, it represents like 50. This probe could have been 50 minerals above his head, and it could have been 50 more minerals you would have had in your bank account if you just let him mine longer. It's a little bit of, it's shit like that slows you down and slows you down. And the only reason why this 50 above his head that you're missing out on would ever make sense is if you actually got to his base before he expanded and you disrupted his natural location, and your whole plan was to be like, I'm going to be that guy that goes for an adept follow-up when the Zerg has a base there and a base there, and I can just shade adepts left and right and be fucking annoying. But that is like master's level shit right there. That is not gold. So again, I hate pylon scouts because you're literally scouting the wrong way. It also reinforces you to scout like shit. It reinforces you to scout by a way of going, I don't know what he's doing until I see it. But you know what he's doing by what you do see. You know he's not doing it. That is good scouting. Knowing someone is not doing something is just as effective as waiting for them to do it. But one of those ways takes 1 second to figure out, and one of those ways could take a minute. Because you're waiting. Oh, there's the pool. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. There you go. You finally see it. You knew he was doing this because you opened up hatchery first and he spent all of his larvae. But you knew that way before you saw it. You don't have to see this to know that this is going to eventually happen. Okay, that's like, I think that's all we're really going to talk about on scouting, because I know this is Gold League, and I just gave you a fuckload of high-level scout information right there in a Gold League analysis. It's just that's the very beginning of the game. And I'm trying to justify why you should not scout with a pylon scout, and you should instead scout with a gateway scout, because what would have happened if you scouted with a gateway scout? You would have still got to his base before he made the pool. Because you want to know the difference? Let me show you. Last thing we'll say. Let me show you the difference. So just know your pylon was also delayed, okay? If you go for a gateway scout, add 20 seconds. Add 20 seconds to this, okay? So you would have been getting to his base at 117. And the reason why I said, why does 20 seconds make sense? Where are you pulling that number out of your ass from, ViBE? I don't understand. A build time of a pylon is 18 seconds. And then you add on 2 seconds for the process of you going, pylon's done, build the gateway, and now let's go. It takes about 2 seconds to do that. 20 seconds, that's where I get that number from. I don't just shit it out randomly. It makes sense. So 20 seconds later, your probe would have got here. Would it have changed anything? The answer is no. It would not have changed shit, because your probe doesn't leave the base for like 40 seconds. Because you wait and wait and wait and wait. And what really would have changed, though, you would have had more money. Because you would not have had to have pulled a second probe off your mineral line to go build the gateway and then go back. Like, it's just more money that you have. And if he was doing something aggressive, more money means easier defense. So watch your probe. Again, you would have actually gotten here at 117, like right there. You would have been there at 117. Okay? Let's watch and see what happens at 117. You take a second pass. The second pass would have been your first pass. Like, your probe would be right here, like roughly like 118. It would be like right there on the base of the ramp. You would have done the exact same thing. And the reason why you scout with a pylon is because you're paranoid. You don't need to be paranoid. You just need to understand. And understanding that, and the thing that's crazy is if you're paranoid about 12 pools and you scout ridiculously repetitively, like, you're cutting your own economy hardcore early game, because this is a big percentage of your economy when you only have like 14 probes. This is not like, oh, it's nothing. What is 1 out of 14 percent wise? That's like 8% or something, right? Or like 9% roughly. Somewhere in there. It's like 8 something. I think it is. Maybe 7. It's actually like 7.5 or some shit like that. It's somewhere in there, like 7.3. It's around there. Think about that. 7-ish% of your economy just goes in the trash. That's a lot. Imagine if every time you had to buy something, you had a $7 tax on it just for no reason. It's like, oh, $7. That would be $7 extra. $7 extra. You're gonna run out of money a lot faster. And that's how much of a percentage of this economy this dude is worth when you do a scout this fast. So stop doing that. It's not worth the cost if you're going to do nothing but scout with it. Because if you think about this, the last thing I'll say, then we'll move on. I'll really harken this last point exactly. If you did get 12 pulled, what would you do as a response to a 12 pull? What you would do is you would build probably another gateway and like a core and a zealot and maybe a second pylon. Like you would freak out and you'd be like, spend money, right? You would need to spend money to not die. What does that cost? 100 minerals for a zealot, 100 minerals for a pylon, 150 for a gateway, 150 for a core. Mineral. The less minerals you have, the longer it takes to make these things. So cutting your economy like that in the beginning of the game makes no sense if you're playing defensive. So you gotta stop. I think you scouted with a pylon last time I watched your game too. Stop scouting with a pylon. Because here's the final little like bow on the little package here that I'm wrapping up for you right now. You will still get to a Zerg's base with a gateway scout before Lings leave his base. Lings do not walk out of a Zerg's base within the first 50 seconds of the game. That is physically impossible. And your probe gets here at like 50 seconds, 55 seconds. A gateway scout gets here 20 seconds later, which is like 1:15. Just to throw this out there, if a Zerg 12 pulls you, their Lings don't actually spawn until like 1:20. Roughly. Around there. So you have a 100% chance to get to the ramp of his base with a gateway scout before his Lings run out of his base. So that is the final piece of this, because I feel like that is the only thing you should be here for. That is paranoia. And as soon as you saw that, you already know it's irrelevant because he's expanded. So you can tell what people are doing without even knowing what they're doing. Like you can see a piece of what they're doing, and that tells you what they're doing as a whole. It tells you everything. So now we'll talk about you. We'll stop talking about your scouting. I feel like that needed to be said though, because I feel like there's logically no reason why you're doing this. And I want to make sense of it for you. Your pylon is in a very awkward position. You might be able to fit another gateway in there. I really don't think you can. I think another gateway is going to get blocked because it would have to go there. So it's going to be red. So your pylon kind of fucked you here. I'm pretty sure that pylon is too close. Which is going to suck because now your wall is going to look like garbage. Oh, it does. Okay, it barely fits. Good job. I actually wasn't sure if that was going to fit or not. Your wall is perfect. It's fine. Your second gateway is maybe a bit early though, in my opinion. But otherwise, good shit. Like, you definitely don't want to be building second gateway before second gas. You also built second gateway before second pylon. That is also incorrect. The build is pylon, gateway, gas, nexus, core, gas, pylon, and then another gateway. Again, you're paranoid. You just scouted. He just started a pool. Why are you rushing a wall? You have zero threat of Lings hitting you within the next like 2 minutes. Like earliest Lings are going to be threatening here is like 3:45. So this makes no sense. Like this is fucking your build up for no reason because you're not going to use it. You're expanding. You're just using it for the purpose of having a wall to make yourself feel safe. You're also heading a probe. We'll see what that does later. But again, this kind of shit should not be happening in Gold League. You're playing the game at this meta level that shouldn't exist right now. It's just macro. You're like fucking yourself over when you do shit like this because this is again another probe that's just sitting there forever doing nothing. It needs to be like again. This probe could have a number above his head. And earlier it was like 50 when we scouted over here. Now it might as well say 100 and counting. Like this probe could have bought a pylon by himself if he was just mining minerals longer. Again, I'm not telling you not to scout. I'm telling you to gateway scout, get in, get out, get the fuck out of there, and just go back to mining. Because you already know this dude's playing macro for at least the start of the game. He could, you know what he could have afforded? A pylon or a battery. And you know what it would be great right now? A battery if you don't know what you're fighting against. Because you don't know if he's going to all-in you or not now, because you're not checking to see if he's still mining gas after speed. So you don't know if he's all-inning you or not. You really don't. And if you make a blind battery, that will keep you safe from weird-ass all-ins that you're just like, wait, what? Oh, okay. Lots of Lings. Some Banes. All right. Your build is just fucked up. Like, you're behind where you should be. Also, I highly recommend you build your robo in the future. Your tech should always go in your base. The reason why is because you're making it so easy for Zerg to scout you without having to sacrifice an overlord. Like, if an overlord was sitting right there, he would see it. If he didn't even have an overlord there and he just ran a Ling like this, up, down, oh, robo. Okay, cool. At least if you put a shit here, if he runs an overlord in to scout it, you can send a stalker back into your base and kill the overlord. So you make him lose something for cost, for gain. He gains information, but he loses an overlord. Here, he gains information and loses nothing. So don't make it so easy to have your scout teched. Or you mean your tech scouted. Jesus. My brain is kind of fucking exhausted right now, sorry. Look at that. The Zerg saw every... Oh, he actually had the overlord like on the far side, so he didn't even actually scout it. But he could totally have seen that. I like this. This is nice. Really what you should be looking at here is base count. So you should be looking at third, go into his base. Don't try to analyze and read his build. Because if you can't do that yet, well then you can't do that yet. Really try to just understand how many bases he's on. That'll give you an indicator as to how greedy or how aggressive he is. So you see like right there? Like look at this guy's build. This is also why it's not the most intelligent thing to do when you're learning the game, to also try and understand why other people are doing what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that this guy doesn't have a layer right now, and he's gone for 4 gases and double Evo and Roach Warren and speed, doesn't make a whole lot of sense if that's all you scouted. Like, trying to make sense of that is fucking weird. You're just like, okay, he's got 4 gas, but he didn't really prioritize the 4 gas with tech. So he's taking 4 gas with 2 base, but he doesn't have no drones, so he's not all in with this. He's got lots of drones and 4 gas, and he doesn't have a layer yet. It's like a 2 base semi-tech. If you only know he's got 2 bases, this would make you think like, you're like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And exactly, it looks fucking weird. It makes no sense. This build makes literally no sense if this is all you see. Because you're like, why do you not have units and you make mass gas, but you also have no tech? You're not doing either side of it. You're just making drones and delaying your tech. Build sucks ass. Honestly. But if you saw he had a 3rd, it would make a little more sense. Because now suddenly, okay, he just took, here's what he did. He took a 3rd base. He made a lot of drones. He just took gas, and you could tell this by clicking on it as well. But that's advanced. I don't expect you in Gold League to click gas and read gas. These gases are just started, by the way. You can tell if you click it. But again, I do not expect you to do that in Gold League. That's fucking advanced. I just want you to look for expansions. That's all I would say. Just look for expansions, and then eventually you can throw it into his base and just see, oh, does he have a lot of roaches? Cool. Or not cool. Whatever. But I would say this guy's build is he made drones, lots of drones. He took a 3rd, and then he just threw down gas. And you know why I think he just threw down gas and why he has a layer going up? He opened up 3 base speedling, and now he's probably going to go for a Hydrodin or a Spire. You don't know which one it is yet, but it could be either one. He's going to now use his early game economy to use layer tech. Probably. He also might just make roach speed. That could be a possibility. Doesn't have to not be that. But he's going for economy into layer tech. This build actually makes sense if you saw the third base. It doesn't make any fucking sense when you skip the third and you just go straight for the natural main. And I know you went here first, but you should scout both because there are 2 potential thirds here. So seeing this is going to literally, if you scratch your head and you're a gold league and you're like, what the fuck does this mean? It's going to confuse the shit out of you. It makes literally no sense. Like, even for me, I'm just like, this build sucks dick. If this is all I see. Like, yeah, what is this? Drones with weird gas timings and layer. Okay. He's like semi-aggressive, but also semi-techy. Like, he's not taking a third base from what we've seen so far, but he's also not really utilizing his gas for tech. Like, it's delayed as fuck. It makes no sense. But it does make sense if you, again, he scout his third.
Oh, yeah.
Again, the only thing, and like, if you saw this as a Protoss, I would honestly want you to go like this. Just throw it in the fucking trash. Don't even care. Do not care about it. Do not try to decipher everything you see and be like, I'm going to be Sherlock Holmes about everything. Deduce the whole fucking game. That comes much later. Even people in GM don't even know how to fucking deduce the game half the time. I'm not even kidding. They just look at simple things like scout the third. Get in the habit of scouting the third with your hallucinations. That's what you should aim for real. That'll help you a lot. Yo, thank you for the sub, El Jefe. El Jefe. Thank you, man. As long as you have decent probe saturations, that's all I care about. And it's not that bad. Your probe saturation's okay. Macro-wise, you're doing okay. You could have been a little bit better for a couple reasons, but like this probe again. It's still fucking here, dude. So much money that's just being wasted. If you sent the probe out there at 6 minutes right now, I would not have given a shit. I'd be like, oh, whatever. You have a lot of probes already. What's 1 out of 57? What percentage is that? That's not even 2%. Or it's like a decimal. It's like 1.8 or something, or like 1.9. It's almost 2%. That point is, it's really tiny. It's really small. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny percent. What is 1 out of 14, right? That's a big percent. And this probe has been fucking up here for 6 minutes. You literally sent this probe across the map at like 20 seconds in the game. This is 100. So we'll take into account that you'll spend a minute to go scout. You'll run across the map, you run back. More like 2 minutes, okay? We'll be fair. I'll give you 2 minutes to scout because it takes like 45 seconds to cross the map either way with a little bit of time in between to actually look at his base. So 2 minutes off of this, all right? Which means 2 minutes and 20 seconds get deleted because it took 20 seconds to build the building and then you ran across the map, and 2 minutes to actually scout. But that's now 4 minutes unaccounted for where it just sat here. And 4 minutes is 60 times 4, which is 240 minerals. This probe itself has paid for more than half of a nexus if you actually just had it mining. Like, leaving shit here like that is so fucking bad. It has to have a purpose. Because again, this is one of your first probes the whole time. Triple Forge is excessive. Everyone goes Triple Forge. If you're going to go against Zerg, honestly, you know what I recommend you do? Double Forge it. If you're going to go ground heavy, double Forge it instead of Triple Forge. And go shields and weapons in low leagues. The reason why I say shields and not armor is because it would increase your buildings, which would increase your potential to defend counterattacks. And I think counterattacks are what murders people in low leagues. Suddenly 10 meters show up in your base and you're like, I'm fucking dead. But if you have shield upgrades, suddenly it's not as hard to deal with. Yeah, I really want you to just macro up hardcore. Cute fancy shit like this, I'd completely disagree with. You're just throwing money away repeatedly. And it's distracting you because you're trying to be sneaky cheeky. Because like again, I think stuff like this in Gold League is great if you want to have fun. Like you gotta have fun. Obviously, it's a fucking video game. You're not supposed to take it super serious all the time. If you want to have fun, this is okay. But if your idea of fun is as quick of improvement as possible, and you want to have the most efficient route to get to improvement, this is horrible. Don't try to proxy ninja do weird shit in your games. Just be if you can win a game by just muscling your opponent out of the game with pure macro, that's how you win. Because you want to know what I would do if I was playing in Platinum League? I would not do anything weird. I would not be like, well, guys, I gotta fucking do some proxy bullshit to somehow get a lead to actually win this game. I'd be like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna macro, and I'm never gonna stop, and my opponent's gonna literally drop off a cliff at some point, and I'm just gonna win. So it's always gonna happen. It's gonna happen guaranteed. Like at some point, my opponent's just gonna be like, oh, I can't keep up with you anymore. Too much. This is too much macro from me. I'll be like, yep. That's why you are stuck in Platinum League. Because everybody in Platinum League and below drops off at some point with their macro. They all do. It could be at 12 minutes. It could be at 7 minutes. It could be at 3 minutes. It could be at 30 seconds. It's always at some point in time. Everybody in low leagues has that tipping point where they're like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And until you can keep that going the whole game, you will be in Platinum or below the whole time. Do you want to know what a player in fucking Masters League would be like? If I just macroed only and I didn't micro shit, I would die because that player would never stop macroing and would also then on top of that be able to incorporate like micro and shit. They will never stop macroing. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Players in high leagues do not ever have a stopping point with macro, but players in low leagues do. You know how hard you get cheesed and all in low leagues? It's irrelevant. Yes, I know that how hard you get all in and cheese in low leagues. You know how many times I've been all in by a gold player or something, and then I just fucking macro and people are like it literally happened like 2 days ago. Sorry, I'm gonna just take a detour here for just like 10 seconds. Just like 2 days ago, I played a fucking guy who is Protoss, who was he platinum? I can't remember if he was platinum or not. He went for 3 gates. 3 gates. No, it was silver. It was atomic. Okay. It was silver. He went for 3 gateways as an opener, but he made 3 gateways before he even started a core. And I did not give a single fuck about that. Don't take offense to it. You're still here, Atomic. You're much love. I appreciate you, man. Sorry. But the point is I did not react to that. I didn't give a shit. You want to know what I did? I did the one thing I tell everyone to do. Make a fucking spine. Make a battery. 1. And then fucking write it off as I don't give a shit. Because you know what everyone does in low leagues? They go like this. Like, get the fucking dooms. Let's play the sound effect so it really makes a...
Hip hip hooray.
Everyone's like this. 3 fucking gates. Holy shit. Why is it not playing? Go, play. What the hell? This video is like broken. He's got 3 gateways. Fucking make spines. Wall off. Drones, upgrade burrow. Go underground. Get everything. Drop lords. We need to evacuate. He made 3 fucking gateways. Holy shit. Make lings. No. Stop fucking doing that. Stop. Just make drones. Make probes. Who fucking cares? Make a battery. You know what's going to happen? They're going to fuck their own build up so bad, and you're just going to make units out of your macro element of things, and you're going to just overpower them with a better economy. You know why you die when you get all in? It's because you don't fucking macro. I just talked about that as well today. If you don't macro, you die. Yes, that is logical. It makes sense. Just fucking macro. Just do it. Okay, much love. No, for real though. Like people just freak out. And they're like, dude. He's attacking. He's gonna attack. I don't have time for this. ViBE, like you weren't playing against people like this, dude. You did not play against people that were this aggressive. What do you mean this aggressive? Yeah, I did. It's just the reason why it looks like it's not aggressive is because there's a difference between when 4 minutes rolls around, having 2 units or having 8 units. If you only have 2 units at 4 minutes because you freaked out and you just built a bunch of shit that you didn't need, versus if you just macroed and now suddenly you have 8 units, you're good to go. Like you're fine. You had to worry about nothing because you just have enough to kill that shit. You just have to macro. You know what? I honestly, this is okay. Last thing I'll say, then I'm gonna move on. Every time, this is an honest opinion. I know someone's gonna get offended by this, but just know I love you. Okay, I love you, man. I love you. Whoever gets offended by this, I appreciate you, and you'll get there someday. I promise. If you just stick to it. But anyone who says you can't macro at low leagues because you just get all in, they are all the same kind of person that freaks out and plays like shit when they see aggression. They stop actually macroing. And I agree with that. You can't hold all ins if you stop macroing. I agree with that one. You cannot hold all ins if you stop macroing. But thinking that you do macro still is wrong. You totally can hold all ins if you macro, especially if we're talking about fucking Gold League. 100%. The only time I will ever say you cannot be greedy if your opponent's being all in is if you're watching the GSL. Literally. Even you could still even do it in GM. If you're watching fucking like Innovation play DRG and Innovation's like, you know what I'm gonna do? My brand new 4 command center build. And DRG's like, you know what I'm gonna do? A Baneling bust. Then yeah, obviously Terran's gonna die. But in reality, in StarCraft Ladder, when your opponent plays aggressive and playing macro defensively, that is always capable. Always capable. Like always. The only way you can ever disagree with me is if you're like at the level of pro gamer. And if you're at the level of pro gamer, then obviously, you know, you're gonna know your shit. And you'll know why. Anyways, sorry for that detour. I know it's kind of long, but it does make a lot of sense, though. I think people in time will start to understand that, but it really does make sense. Like people freak out for no reason so many times. Okay, so number 1, you don't have charge. That makes Zealots god awful. This fight would have gone a lot better if you did have charge. And then number 2, let's look at your Nexus. Yeah, you're not chrono boosting anything. Definitely start chrono boosting more. Chrono boost more if you can. It would help a lot. But yeah, like your composition's fine. I don't give it. Your composition was totally fine. But definitely if you're gonna go for Zealot heavy compositions, get charge. Zealots are actually like 3 times as useful or 4 times as useful with charge as compared without. So I don't know. That might have been a mistake. It might have just been an oversight. But just in general, just know for sure. If you get Zealots, you need charge for them to be good. It's the same thing for Zerg if they make Zerglings. Zerglings without speed are garbage versus when they have a speed. And that fight for you just went actually really bad. So I could see you dying right now. Like the Zerg could push you and kill you right now. Because that was like, look how crappy that fight was for you. That fight was awful. It's because you don't have speed. And now he's taking it, yeah, and now he's pushing you, and your army is also half over here and like half over here. So that's, you're also getting caught out of position as well now. So the best thing you could have done, just know this. Splitting your army up and defending 2 sections at the same time would make sense if you had a strong, formidable army. And I've told people to do that before. And you might have done that because I said to do that before. With people being like, you know what you should do before you move out? Split your army in half and guard both sides. It doesn't make any sense to do that, though, if you do it right after you threw your whole army away. And now you start building your army in 2 different spots. Because when you throw your army away, do you know what that does to your opponent? It prompts them to attack you with everything. So you know, if you know you're going to get attacked by everything, splitting your army makes no sense. Because then all you're going to do is fight his army with half and then the other half. So what you should have done, in my opinion, is you should have probably just made a new army like right there. In the center, the heart of your base. So if he attacks this base, you can go to the right. If he attacks over here, you can go to the left. But if, like, for instance, if this Nexus were to get denied, that is not going to end the game for you. But if this army gets denied right now, you're dead. Because you have no way to recover. And yeah, the Chargeless Zealots are gonna definitely fuck you repeatedly this game. Like I can't tell you how bad they are, and that is what the majority of your army was. I would say, like, if your army was like a percentage, like a pie chart, 50% of it was Zealot. And then the other 50% was a mixture of like Archon, Immortal, Stalker. So the majority of your army was Zealot, and it was no charge, which is really, really bad. I like that you're still macroing, though. I mean, if the Zerg is going to give you a chance to recover, that's great. And yeah, now at this point, there's nothing you can do. I know he's a dickhead because he laughed at you and GG'd you offensively, but there's nothing you can do now. You are dead, and it's just because you took such a bad fight. And then he like snowball effect you. He did the snowball effect where you took a bad fight and then he rolled you over as like right after, before you could recover. So that happens. It happens. And the reason why you took a bad fight is honestly because you didn't have charge. Like, if you have this many Hydras fighting against equivalent, like, let's just say, how many Hydras do you have over here? He has 43 Hydras, okay? Let's say 43 Hydras had to fight 30 Zealots. If those Zealots do not have speed, I bet you'll probably kill about 4 out of 43 Hydras. You would probably kill like 4 out of 43 with no charge, with like 30 Zealots. However, if you had charge, instead of killing like 4, you'd probably kill like 14 out of 43 with like 30 Zealots. And that's just Zealots. You know what Zealots really do? They get in the front fast so that your Archons and Immortals don't die, and the Archon Immortal actually beat the shit out of Zerg. Can we do a replay analysis unit tester? No, I'm not going to do that. Take my word for it. It's Chargeless Zealots. Basically, you know what a Chargeless Zealot does? He wears knee pads so that when he gets to the Zerg's base, he's prepared to get on his knees and start sucking roach dick. And then when you upgrade charge, he gets rid of those knee pads. And now he actually gets fucking weapons for real. Now he actually gets ready to kill Zerg. Yeah, Chargeless Zealots blow ass. They're really bad. Alright. Okay. And now you're dead. I imagine you stayed in this game because he was a dick, which is fine. But yeah, there's no more analysis here. You're dead. You're dead. There's absolutely zero way you win this game. Yo, Corpy, thank you very much for the 2-month resub. Hell yeah. Thank you, man. Much love. Well, yeah, I mean, just know conceptually, okay? Just know that if your opponent goes Mass Roach Hydra, that army does not scale as good as Archon Immortal does. Okay? It does not. So if you both max out at 200 supply, because I read in chat, you said, I don't know how to deal with mass hydras. If you max out on anything that is efficient, charge lots with Archon Immortal would be fine. If you have a lot of Archon and Immortal in your army, with gateway units mixed in as well, you have a better army than Zerg does. Mass hydras is not an army that scales as good as more expensive Protoss units. And that's exactly why. It's because the units that Protoss is making, if the Zerg is going mass hydras, 2 hydras represent 200 minerals and 100 gas. Okay, that's it. 2 hydras is 4 supply, 200 minerals, 100 gas. 1 immortal is 4 supply, 100 gas, 275 minerals. So a immortal is more expensive than a hydra per supply. An Archon is the same thing. An Archon is 100 minerals and 300 gas. And Hydra is 200, 100. So an Archon is 400 value, and a Hydra is 300 value. A Hydra is 300 value, and Immortal is 375 value. So an Archon and Immortal are both basically 400 value. Again, an Immortal is only 25 under. It's 270 or 375. So you have 375, 400. Both of these units cost 4 supply, or 2 Hydras at 300 value, 4 supply. When you get a lot of it, your cost, your army is a lot more expensive as Protoss than it is as Zerg, which in turn also means that the Protoss army is more expensive.
Damn,
because
I got called
it's
out.
better.
While playing a game you finally wouldn't have shit all over too. Damn lol.
What? Yo, Koopa, I love you, man. I was just using that you as an example just because you were very recent, and it's fresh in my mind. But much love. But again, but you're not alone, dude. Everyone that says the shit that you say, everyone says it. They all say it. I can't tell you how many times, like, my phone would go off with Bronze GM series when I would upload a video and my phone is linked to my YouTube account. It'd be like, notification, notification, notification. And it'd be like these people going like, so how does ViBE deal with all-ins? Because he never gets all-in. Like, I get all-in all the time, but ViBE never gets all-in. People just don't attack. Is he playing a bunch of noobs? Is ViBE playing a bunch of baddies? Do ViBE's opponents even know how to play the game? ViBE's Platinum Series was the easiest shit I've ever seen. No one even did anything. And then you look at my games and I'm like, well, they tried, but they got fucking shut down because it actually macroed. And then when I watch people that are actually in these leagues play... Let's do it again. He's making fucking gateways! Shit! Stop making probes! Fucking make 5 batteries and cannons! We're gonna die! And then suddenly, 5 minutes later, so ViBE, how do you deal with someone who goes mass carriers? Because I can't deal with it. It's like, oh, don't make fucking mass batteries and cannons in the beginning of the game. Make a fucking probe line. It's crazy. Anyways, I hope this helps. Yo, Infinity. I hope this helps you, man. Harry, basically, long story short, don't feel intimidated by Zerg if you're the one going Archon Immortal and the Zerg is going Hydras. Like, you're totally fine. You can easily handle that army. Don't feel intimidated. And then just stick to the plan. 80 probes, roughly. Like, maybe 85. Keep expanding. Keep saturating. Keep doing your best to keep that running, like the upkeep. Keep it going. And just keep maxing out over and over and over as much as you can. And just make sure you have upgrades that are necessary, like charge for charge lots. I'm telling you right now, this game would have been a lot different if you just had charge. But yeah. Your macro could have been better in multiple ways. I think also don't do weird shit anymore. Stop doing this kind of stuff. This fucked you over more than you realize. This was worse than you know. This probe was worth... this probe has been in this side of the map for 15 minutes. He left home at 20 seconds in the game and he never came back. And he's still alive. That is unacceptable. Because you sent him out so early and then that's just so much money that you just wasted. That's the same thing as literally just not making a probe and then waiting a full probe cycle and then making another probe. It's bad. It's a lot of missed mining time. Well, yeah, guys. Anyways, thank you for watching. Then the ironic thing is the first probe that left your base is the last probe left alive. Oh my god.
Much love, man. THX for the review. 2 questions. So, do you have a scouting guild on YouTube, and when would you say I can start learning to predict while scouting?
I do not have a scouting guide that is like literally this is how you scout. Exactly. That's mixed into beta GM stuff. Like I talk a lot more about scouting once you get minimum to like platinum, and I kind of talked about it this game because you've done this before. So I really wanted to hit the point home with you because I've seen you do a probe scout before off of a pylon. So stop doing that. I explained why. I don't have to go into it again. Like, just watch the VOD again. I'll upload it later. We explained heavily why you do not want to probe scout with a pylon. You said wait for the gateway and then go. But I really start talking a lot more about scouting and what it means in platinum to a certain degree, like a little bit. But I really, really start breaking it down a lot more in diamond. So if you really want to know scouting, once you're in Diamond League, if you watch Diamond Beta GM shit, I really break down scouting there, like a lot. And then Diamond coaching videos and replay analysis stuff, I will talk a lot more about what scouting means in Diamond because you can actually handle it then. But do not think for a second you lost this game because of your scouting and that was it in Gold League. You really lost this game because you didn't get fucking charged. 100%. Your macro was okay. Your army was okay. The fact that you had no charge was like literally knee pad zealots. And that was like half of your fucking army. You had so many knee pad zealots that were just ready to please those hydras and roaches. So that was your biggest mistake. But you had the right idea to kill expansions though, so keep it up. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out more content if you find it informative. I have many more videos out there. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take it easy. Peace out. Much love. Adios.